Hi, I'm Rowan and welcome to my kitchen. On this episode of Baking Away the Blues, we're going to be using some leftover coconut milk that I had in the fridge because I made curry last night to make a lovely coconut cake. For this recipe you're going to need 200 grams of plain flour, a pinch of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 75 grams of butter, 75 grams of caster sugar, 50 grams of desiccated coconut, 1 egg, 120 millilitres of coconut milk, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. For the icing you will need 180 grams of icing sugar, 40 grams of butter, 45 grams of cocoa powder, 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract, and 40 millilitres of coconut milk. First you're going to need to prepare your tin. Now this recipe calls for a 6-inch tin. The one I have here is spring form, which means that it has this little latch on it, so when the cake's done you can literally open the latch and spring the cake out. First, you're going to want to grease your tin, this so the cake will come out really easily. There are a couple of ways you can do this. Kind of the most easy one really is if you have a pack of butter, you're going to want to tear a bit of the pack off just to kind of use to smear the butter around. Just grab some butter and just work it around the outside of the tin. If you happen to have one of these, a pastry brush, you can melt a little bit of butter in like a saucepan or in the microwave, and you're just going to want to brush that along. Either one of those is fine. Equally, if you want to use greaseproof paper, you can make a circle of greaseproof paper to go on the bottom so that it won't stick to the bottom. Any of those methods will be fine. Now the next thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven so that it can start to warm up while you're making the batter. So it's going to be 180 degrees in the oven, which is about 160 in a fan oven or gas mark 4. Okay, so what you're going to want to do first is take your flour, salt and baking powder and add them to a large bowl. Then get your butter, add that as well, and then rub it between your fingers until it's like fine breadcrumbs. This is what you should end up with. Then add your sugar and your desiccated coconut. Put that to one side, and in a different bowl you're going to put together your wet ingredients, so your egg, your coconut milk and your vanilla paste. Then beat the wet ingredients together until combined. Next you need to make what's called a well in the dry ingredients, so the flour mix. Basically that just means kind of parting it all to the side so there's a hole in the centre, and then you're going to take your wet ingredients, put it into the hole, make sure everything's out of the bowl, and then just stir to combine the ingredients together. And your batter should look like this. And the final thing you need to do is just transfer your batter into your greased tin. And then just smooth the batter down. Now just take your cake in the tin and put it into the oven on the centre shelf for about half an hour to 40 minutes. Now after half an hour to 40 minutes, when the top is this sort of golden brown colour, you're going to want to see if the cake is done inside. Now there are a couple of ways to do this. A lot of people say that you can hear if it's done. If it's still making crackling noises, that means it has longer to cook. But a really simple way is just to take a skewer or a toothpick and insert it into the centre of the cake, take it out, and what you're going to want is something like that so it comes out completely clean. If it isn't cooked properly, then it will still have some of the batter clinging to it and you're going to need to put it in for a little bit longer. Now, if the top is this brown colour or even darker and it's still not cooked inside, a really good thing you can do is put some tin foil over the top. That means the cake won't get any more brown, but the inside will still cook. Now the last thing you're going to need to do is just take the cake out of the tin. So if you've got a spring form tin like I do, you're going to have this latch thing here. Be careful because the tin is probably still hot. Just hold it, push the latch along. That will mean that you can lift the outside off, and there you have your cake. For the icing, the first thing you do is take your butter, put it into a bowl, along with the teaspoon of vanilla extract. Then mix it together until it's soft and smooth. Add the icing sugar and combine. Now add the cocoa powder and finally the coconut milk. You'll end up with super smooth icing that looks kind of like this. Now, to ice the cake itself, wait till it's cool, and you can either take the frosting and put it straight on top or cut it into layers. You're going to take some of the icing, put it in the centre, and then just smooth it around, and then ice the top. Just put a tablespoon or two of desiccated coconut in a frying pan, turn on to a medium heat, and continue stirring the desiccated coconut until it goes slightly brown. Then immediately take it off the heat to stop it cooking any further. Wait till it's cold and then sprinkle on top of the icing. So that's it! Coconut cake with chocolate coconut frosting. Enjoy! Feel free to send me a message or a video response if you make any of the recipes that I do on the channel, or if you have any requests for recipes in the future. It's really nice.